be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. After a difficult and disruptive year, the look and the feel of our annual prize giving is very different and markedly smaller this year. However, your presence and support bring the same warmth and love for college we always experience at this event. We truly appreciate your continued support of our school.
Please be seated. May I add my word of welcome to all the parents, ladies and gentlemen, invited guests, and obviously our boys. It's wonderful to have you all here, and a very special welcome back to our guest of honor, Ms. Anne McLaughlin. Recently, I read a book by Dr. Stephen Farrar, author and recognized leader of men, Finish Strong, where a number of points he raises resonated with me, and I thought I would share one or two with you that I feel are pertinent at this time. For one, to finish strong, as it were, many of you have done what you have done by the mere fact that you are sitting in the Allen Payton Memorial Hall today, about to be acknowledged for academic excellence, would suggest that you display certain qualities. So what is it that separates the men from the boys? It is endurance that separates the men from the boys. It is endurance that determines whether or not a man will finish strong. Endurance is the fruit of godly character. What is required is grit, determination, and finishing power, resilience. To finish strong, you may have had to tap into strength, wisdom, and courage. The source of that courage may well be of a spiritual nature to get you across the finish line. To finish strong, there is the need for greater self-esteem, self-confidence, and courage. Everyone fails. Herman Melville said, "He who has never failed cannot be great." Failure is the true test of greatness. But the true failure is the one who does not learn from his setbacks. That's why a teachable spirit is so important. You need to develop your moral and spiritual character so that you have the faith and endurance to trust God when the chips are down. In order to finish strong, you must have a vision, a goal, and you must know where you are going. A short-term goal may have been to get through COVID and to obtain the best possible results in 2020. And obviously you have done this. A medium-term goal may be to obtain 7 distinctions in matric or more. A long-term goal, to graduate from university in your chosen career path and then possibly to specialize thereafter. You need to review your vision and your goals regularly. Michael Phelps, the famous Olympian swimmer, said the following: "It is not how you start that matters, it is how you finish." It is the rare man who finishes strong. It is the exceptional man who finishes strong. It is the teachable man who finishes strong. I end off with an extract from the poem The Race, attributed to Dr. D.H.D. Groberg. The whistle blew and off they flew like chariots of fire. To win, to be the hero there was each young boy's desire. One boy in particular, whose dad was in the crowd, was running in the lead and thought, "My dad will be so proud." But as he speeded down the field and crossed a shallow dip, the little boy who thought he'd win lost his step and slipped. Trying hard to catch himself, his arms flew every place, and amidst the laughter of the crowd, he fell flat on his face. As he fell, his hope fell too. He couldn't win it now. Humiliated, he just wished to disappear somehow. But as he fell, his dad stood up and showed his anxious face, which to the boy so clearly said, "Get up and win the race." He quickly rose, no damage done, behind a bit, that's all, and ran with all his mind and might to make up for his fall. So anxious to restore himself, to catch up and to win, his mind went faster than his legs. He slipped and fell again. He wished that he would quit before with only one disgrace. I'm hopeless as a runner now. I shouldn't try to race. Get up, an echo sounded low. You haven't lost it all, for all you have to do to win is rise each time you fall. Get up, the echo urged him on. Get up and take your place. You were not meant for failure here. Get up and win that race. So up he rose to run once more, refusing to forfeit. And he resolved that win or lose, at least he wouldn't quit. So far behind the others now, the most he'd ever been, still he gave it all he had and ran like he could win. 3 times he had fallen stumbling. 3 times he rose again. Too far behind to hope to win, he still ran to the end. They cheered another boy across the line and won first place, head high and proud and happy, no falling, no disgrace. But when the fallen youngster crossed the line in last place, the crowd gave him a greater cheer for finishing the race. And even though he came in last with head bowed low, unproud, you would have thought he had won the race to listen to the crowd. And to his dad he sadly said, I didn't do so well. To me you won, his father said, you rose each time you fell. To conclude, finish strong. We are gathered here today to celebrate the excellent results of a large number of our most academically competent and hardworking boys. You and your parents can feel collectively proud of these achievements. Those of you receiving awards today have certainly seized your opportunities and have earned our admiration and respect. To excel at school takes determination, effort, and a positive can-do attitude. To all prize winners, congratulations on your success. I wish you all a very happy and safe holiday, a peaceful Christmas, and a prosperous New Year. Stay safe and healthy. God bless. Pro Aris Ed Focus. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Mr. Lumen and Mrs. Finney, for inviting me. While I was nervously wondering what to speak about, I realized that I had one huge advantage over all the speakers I have heard from this podium. I could ask generations of college boys for help. Their responses have been profound, entertaining, honest, and often predictable. The jokers are still joking. One of them asked me when this Mondeling was. And the promises are still promising. I'm still waiting for some of their work. But the thinkers are still thinking, and amazingly, some of them still listen and obey. This comment comes from someone I taught in the 1980s. My concern is not to fail you. Don't worry, the hamster's on the wheel. And the hamster went on to deliver some great insights. So at least half of what I'm going to say comes from old boys ranging in age from 18 to 80. Before I start, though, I'm going to slip in one anecdote, which I know Mr. Marwick and those of us who knew Skunk Nicholson will enjoy. And I quote, "My friends were all discussing their choices for high school, but I had nowhere to go, and I was starting to panic a little, when eventually we got the word that college was the choice. My mother set up an appointment with Skunk, and I sat anxiously on the edge of my chair in his office as he looked at us somewhat sternly and told us that enrollments had closed some time back and there was nothing he could do to help us. Luckily, my primary school head had coached my mother well, so she slid my half-year academic report across his desk. I'd been fortunate enough to get some good results, including 100% at maths. He studied these for a while and then looked up with that wry look of his and said, "I think we can find a spot for him somewhere." Later on, there was a follow-up interview with him, and I presented my end-of-year results this time. He looked down at my final 99% mark for maths and then glanced up at me. All he said was, "You're slipping." Just as well Skunk made a plan, as this fellow went on to become Dux in 1982. The following quote, which was shared on Facebook during the height of the COVID pandemic by our film director, Jetus Joseph, has stayed with me and has really been the seed of this talk. It goes like this: "What is luxury? They made us believe that luxury was the rare, the expensive, the exclusive, everything that was unattainable. Now we realize that luxury was those little things that we did not know how to value when we had them. And now that they are gone, we miss them so much. Luxury is being healthy. Luxury is not stepping into a hospital. Luxury is being able to walk along the seashore. Luxury is going out on the streets and breathing without a mask. Luxury is meeting with your friends and family. Smiles are luxury. Hugs and kisses are luxury. Luxury is enjoying every sunrise. Luxury is the privilege of loving and being alive. All this is luxury, and we did not know. Stay blessed, stay grateful." The year 2020 has not been the year to get everything you wanted. This has been the year to appreciate what you've got. So I'm going to focus on that, an attitude of gratitude. And I've chosen 3 things for which we should all be grateful. Firstly, we need to be grateful for our college community. This school, your school, offers you the most wonderful opportunities, both now and later in life. When I left college, I worked for an NGO that assisted maths teachers in the rural districts of our town, and I visited many schools. None of them had even the smallest percentage of what you have on offer here. We also worked with pupils from rural schools in the Bergville district, and we would bring small groups of them in for a week of maths during the October holidays. So they basically gave up their entire holiday to do maths from 8 to 4 p.m. every day. On one occasion, the bus was ready to return to Bergville at the end of the week, and we couldn't find one of the boys. We eventually found him hiding in a cupboard because he didn't want to go home. One can only imagine what his reality was. Once you leave here in a couple of years' time, as an old boy, you will be a member of this great community, a community which will always have your back. Even as a second-class member of this community, I'm never going to be an old boy. I have had some amazing experiences, of which I'll mention just a few. Some years ago, I left college on study leave to study for a master's degree in maths education. As a mature student, I ended up in a university flat, which I shared with 2 young English girls who specialized in stealing my food and setting up the smoke alarm when they had midnight fry-ups. It was not a happy time for me, and I wondered seriously about the wisdom of what I'd done. Then one day, I was walking along the high street in Winchester and thought I heard someone calling "ma'am." It's actually amazing how long it takes to transition from "ma'am" to "Ann." Sometimes that never happens. The call came from a past pupil who'd been in my very first class here, and he was now a doctor in Winchester. My life changed. He immediately organized me much better accommodation. He would fetch me from the airport so I didn't have to endure the horrible National Express bus, and I became part of their social circle. We have remained firm friends. I'm an avid tennis fan, and I've had tickets to centre court at Wimbledon, which I could never have afforded on a teacher's salary, courtesy of a college old boy. And more recently, the same old boy, who's a tennis coach in America, organised me a special ticket to the Australian Open, which allowed me to go everywhere, into the underground players area where I had Roger Federer walking right past me. Mrs. Orchard and I have been vying for his attention, unsuccessfully, for many years. Last year, when one of my past pupils, who's now a Catholic priest, heard I was going to be in London, he offered me accommodation in the huge house attached to his church in Notting Hill. I was indeed treated like royalty. He made the visiting Vietnamese priests move out of the best rooms that I could have it, and we had braais and cocktails in his beautiful garden, and I had escorted tours around Notting Hill. One of the highlights was when he invited me to attend his morning mass. He showed me in at a side door, and at this stage, he was dressed in black rugby shorts and slops. Seconds later, he emerged at the altar, robed in the ecclesiastical cream, gold, and purple finery, and began intoning prayers in Latin. I think saying Pater Noster here prepared him well. I was probably the only person in the congregation who knew that beneath those glorious robes lurked a pretty ancient pair of black rugby shorts. And most importantly, when I was diagnosed with breast cancer nearly 7 years ago, the oncologist who I wanted to treat me was not accepting any new patients at that time, but he took me on because I had taught him. When you're lying on that bed with very few clothes on, and this guy is prodding the upper part of your body, you don't think about the fact that the same guy used to sit in your maths class, because now he's busy saving your life. And obviously he's done a pretty good job, because here I am. So I am supremely grateful for being part of this community, even as a second-class citizen. It has indeed been both a blessing and a luxury. An 8-year-old old boy I spoke to told me his story. In 1952, he arrived at college as a third-form boarder from a very poor family, as his forefathers had all been missionaries. He was put into an ungraded Form 3 class, but by the next year he had percolated up to Form 4A. At this stage, much to his puzzlement, he was called into the office of the then headmaster, Mr. John Willie Hudson, who chatted to him and asked him a few questions about his home situation. It emerged later that his boarding fees had been in arrears, and as a result of his conversation with the headmaster, he was given a full bursary. 60 plus years on, he still got emotional talking about it, as did I, listening to him. He went on to be a very successful accountant, and he showed his gratitude to the school by serving as a trustee of the Maritzburg College and Memorial Trust for over 20 years. The next quote, and by the way, these boys didn't know what the topic of my speech was, because I didn't know at the time when I was canvassing them. The next quote comes from an old boy, now teaching in Canada, and I believe it says it all. The longer I have been away from Maritzburg College, the more I realize how privileged I was to be part of it. While I strongly believe in the strength of Canada's education system, one thing seems to be missing from schools here, and that is a sense of community. By that, I mean a true sense of belonging, a brotherhood, being part of a proud school family, and having a school identity that commands respect. There really is something in the walls of Maritzburg College that binds the hearts of men. You just don't get that from schools here, as great as this education system may be. Speaking from my own tertiary experience in Canada, I feel almost no connection to my Canadian university. But almost 20 years on, I still feel an incredible sense of connection to Maritzburg College. This has nothing to do with the quality of education either, because I believe that I've had access to top-class education from both institutions. Rather, it is a deep-seated emotional connection to Maritzburg College that makes me overflow with pride. He goes on to say, my Canadian girlfriend and I visited Maritzburg College on reunion day last year. For her, having been entirely educated in Canada, it was an opportunity to get a sense of the school that I was part of. She was utterly blown away by Maritzburg College. First of all, seeing boys dressed in preppy uniforms and bashes was quite extraordinary for her. But she could not even begin to fathom how it was that every single set of boys that we walked past stood up and greeted her. Her exact words were, "It made me feel like royalty." If this is the feeling that being at college gives to an unsuspecting international visitor in one afternoon, just imagine what 5 years in the making can do to one's soul. Secondly, be grateful for others. Never look down on anybody unless you are admiring their shoes. The next two quotes come from two old boys about 30 years apart, but they're both saying pretty much the same thing. This is from a 55-year-old boy. There were some guys in our form that had a torrid time of it. As young teenagers, we were like pack wolves, and it's only later in life that one realizes how unnecessary it was and how unfairly we treated some of our school contemporaries. There are a few guys who want nothing to do with the school, and that is very sad. So empathy and compassion are something that one needs to foster from one's early days. Each of us is so different, and our journeys are so unique, and we all need to respect each other and embrace those differences. It makes the world a much better place all around. That is something that I wish I'd had a lot more wisdom about at a younger age. And this 25-year-old echoes these thoughts. I would say that the most important thing is to be kind. It brings out the best in yourself and everyone around you, and instantly creates a platform for understanding someone and stimulating empathy. That, and being absolutely resolute in your respect for self and others, are the most important things I think young lads today should think about. They have such unrestricted access to the world through so many different mediums that these values at all times would go a long way to making the world a better place, which is the one thing we should all be trying to get right. Sounds a bit fanciful at the moment for sure, but I'm still truly believe that we can do it. Thirdly, appreciate yourselves. This comment from the wife of an old boy amused me, but also made me think. I don't know what they put in the water at that place, but every one of you guys think that you're bulletproof, and it is so annoying. This school does help you to bulletproof yourselves, but you also need to play your part. Life will throw curveballs at you, but you need to be able to cope with these because you can. And the space between your ears plays such an important role here. Believe in yourself. You need to stop yourself from stopping yourself. Another much younger old boy had this to say: being challenged is inevitable. Being defeated is optional. And another tennis story. Martina Navratilova, who was still winning Grand Slam events at a fairly advanced age, was once asked, how do you maintain your focus, physique, and sharp game at the age of 43? Her reply was simple: the ball doesn't know how old I am. So, do it. And why? Because you can. And now, just when you thought I was done, I have a fourth one. You know those teachers who set 3 questions for prep, and then just before the bell rings, they add on another one? I'm one of those. So, finally, and most importantly, appreciate your teachers, and appreciate them in the present. In my communication with various old boys, several of them have begun with the words, I don't think I ever thanked you for ... Don't wait for 10 or 20 or 30 years to thank your teachers. Thank them now. At the best of times, teaching is not an easy job. And this year, it has been that much more difficult. Old dogs, like Mr. Tolka and Mr. Sutherland, have had to learn lots of new tricks, and they've done so with great agility and even managed to keep their tails wagging. Your teachers have been deprived of one of the most important things about teaching, collegiality. They've become islands in their own classrooms with no opportunity to download in the staff room to people who understand. There's been very little opportunity for banter in Compost Corner and no opportunity for chatting about who should play where and in which rugby team. I know it's been very hard for you too, as it has been for everyone. But despite all the disruptions and uncertainty that this year has brought, your teachers have emerged tired but triumphant, and you have emerged unscathed academically, as is evidenced by your presence here. And I congratulate you on this, but it is also due to the dedication of your teachers. May I suggest that you take the opportunity right now to show your appreciation for your teachers. Stay blessed, stay grateful. Thank you.
Good morning. Today is an opportunity for us to celebrate the success of those who have performed with academic distinction. We celebrate not only excellence, but also perseverance and self-discipline. Particularly relevant this year, as we have all faced the challenges of this global pandemic. Our teachers deserve special mention here, and I personally thank them for their ongoing commitment to our boys. This year, they've had to tackle many new challenges, and they have done so admirably. There are some boys who unfortunately are not able to be with us today, but we will celebrate their success in their absence. Now, it gives me great pleasure to announce the prize winners for 2020, and I invite our guest of honor, Ms. McLaughlin, to do the presentations and to be assisted by Mr. Kemp. A merit certificate and the prize for third in second form, Cody Robinson. A merit certificate and the prize for second in second form, Cameron Farrar. A merit certificate, prizes for natural science and technology, and the prize for first in second form, Jonathan Worth. A merit certificate and the prize for third in third form, Ethan Koch. A merit certificate, prizes for Afrikaans and mathematics, and the prize for second in third form, Gerard Roux. merit certificate, the prizes for Economic Management Sciences, English, Life Orientation, Natural Sciences, Social Sciences, and the prize for first in third form, Declan Pillay. A merit certificate, the prize for physical science, and the prize for third in fourth form, Yassine Malani. A merit certificate, the prize for economics, and the prize for second in fourth form, Keegan Goddard. A merit certificate, the prizes for English and Information Technology, and the prize for first in fourth form, Taufik Abramia. A merit certificate, the prize for Afrikaans, and the prize for third in fifth form, James Leroux. A merit certificate, the prizes for English, Life Sciences, and Physical Science, and the prize for second in fifth form, Aman Essa. A merit certificate, the prize for economics, and the prize for first in fifth form, Usman Desai. Congratulations, gentlemen. Thank you, Ms. McLaughlin.
The stars are brightly shining. It is the night of the dear Saviour's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till He appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh hear the angel voices, oh night divine, oh night when Christ was born.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your attendance and support. Drive safely. God bless.